Hey, Jenny Bradley with Triangle Smart Divorce in Cary, North Carolina. Today I'm going to address the myth of 50-50 distributions in North Carolina about marital property. First of all, I'll say where that comes from. It is true that we have a statute, a law in North Carolina called Equitable Distribution, ED for short. And in that statute, it says the presumption is a 50-50 split of the marital estate is fair. So let's dissect that sentence for a second. What is fair? Well, there are approximately 16 factors in this very same law that tell us what we should look at when coming up with an equitable distribution. Because it goes on and says equal isn't always equitable. And these are a bunch of words, as Hamlet said, right? But the point of it is it's not always 50-50, even in a court of law. Is that the easy thing to do? Yes. Is it the simple thing to do? Yes. But is it the right thing to do? Not always. And so there are a lot of factors the court can look at to say, hey, I might do something different than 50-50. But most importantly, if you're smart and you're staying out of court, you can agree to whatever the two of you can agree to. So if it makes more sense to do 60-40 now because you know one person's going to be making more money later, you can do that. If it makes more sense to do 55-45 now because there's a spouse who may be staying at home for 2 more years to help raise the children until they get to school age, you can do that. You can do whatever you agree to do. And I'm using small percent changes there. Obviously, it matters on the size of your estate as to how big of a swing that is or not. But I've seen things go as much as 70-30 before. Never seen 100-0. So don't be thinking they're going to get 0 and that's going to be fair. I don't think that's ever going to happen for you. But that's what it means. It means 50-50 is the place we start at. It's the starting point. But that might not always be what happens. Court can order something different. You can agree to something different. So what are we dividing when we talk about dividing the marital estate? We're dividing basically anything that came in between when you got married and when you separate, plus any market changes up or down on those assets until such time as you get the division agreed to or court ordered, with the exception of inheritance or gifts from other people. That would be separate property. I think people have a misconception too that 50-50, let's just use that as our starting point in this conversation, means that you've got to take every asset and divide it down the middle. And that's not true. You've seen people all the time hold on to a house or hold on to a retirement account, hold on to a vehicle or something. We don't take the car and divide it down the middle. What we do is take the value of the car, put it in someone's column, and find an asset of equal or similar value to put in the other person's column to offset it. That's what we mean by offsetting assets against each other. And I think it's important to note what the court's looking at when they're valuing assets. They're thinking, what would this asset get if a willing buyer was out there and is willing to purchase it? So it's not replacement costs like your insurance is. It's what somebody else would buy it for. Think on the used car lot, or in the real estate market, or at a thrift store, or at a yard sale, or something like that. What someone would give you for that asset if you were to turn it in. So with retirement, that's important to note too, because retirement has some tax consequences depending upon the type of retirement plan. So we also look when we're offsetting assets at what the asset is. Is it a tax advantaged account, meaning you're going to pay taxes later on it? Or is it an account that's more like cash right now? Is it a money market account? Is it a checking account? Is it a savings account? Because those two things are not equal dollar for dollar. And that's important to take into account when you're deciding how to divide your assets. And I don't want to make this overly complex, but really you need to understand what your goals are and what's on the horizon for you. Because it may make sense for you right now to take $20,000 in an account instead of a car that's worth $20,000. But it might not. A car might have more value to you than it does monetarily. So I think that's a problem people get into a lot when they're thinking about dividing their assets, is they look at a balance sheet and they look at the value of the assets, and the value, thanks to our laws, is just a monetary number. But value is so many more things. It might be valuable to you not to move from the house, not to pay moving costs, not to have to uproot your kids. That might be more valuable to you than future money you could get from some stock options. So this is a conversation you should have with a lawyer. You should have this conversation with anyone that's going to be representing you. You should involve a financial advisor too to think about your long-term goals and to look at which assets might better align with those. Right now, there might be some stock that's worth nothing because it's a venture, it's a brand new venture. But there might be a chance it's worth a lot more later. What is your risk tolerance? Those are the kinds of things you need to know and you need to evaluate before you decide what division it is that you're looking for. And that's something we can help with.